Hi there, welcome back to Turntable Guy. On the bench today, we finally have a turntable style that I have not had in the past year since I started this channel. This is the very first linear tracking turntable that I've received in for service since I started doing videos on these. I have serviced them in the past, but not since I've started Turntable Guy. So this one's a Pioneer PL-L50. And it is a direct drive, fully automatic linear tracker, and it has some typical problems for this type of turntable. The linear tracking design came out early 80s, late 70s, and what it tried to do or mimic was to recreate how records are cut. Records are not cut by a swinging arm, they're cut by an arm that tracks along the vinyl, right, and cuts the groove in it. And the whole idea behind the linear tracking was to mimic that as the record plays. So as you can see here, the tone arm is very short, it's about that long, and they're usually P mounts, but not necessarily. You can find linear tracking turntables with a 1/2-inch mount cartridge. And what happens is this arm will move all the way across and then back. So in theory, you're avoiding a pivot arm which may have tracking errors as it swings across the arm, because technically when you have a pivot arm, the arm is going to be perfectly aligned somewhere in the record, but as it moves in that arc, there's going to be some tracking error somewhere in the record groove, be it at the beginning or near the end. Most of the times it's near the end, but that's why you hear about last track distortion. So that's one of the problems with the radial arm. Linear tracking turntables attempted to mimic the cutting style of record and to get rid of that. Now, whether or not they were successful, that's a question for someone else to answer. I think they're overly complicated. Once we get this thing opened up, you're going to see what it takes to get this arm across the record. And the amount of just the mechanics behind it, it's really not worth it. There are some really fabulous linear tracking turntables, and I'm sure if you're willing to spend thousands and thousands of dollars for those, then yeah, maybe you're going to hear it. But on a cheapie like this, which probably sold for like 199 bucks or something like that, you're not going to be improving on any type of sound quality over a solidly built turntable that has a normal arm on it. So here we are, the linear tracking Pioneer PL-L50. I've already plugged this in. I've actually already removed this section because it's got these weird type of, it doesn't have screws, it's got these press-in type clips. So I went ahead and did that because I didn't want to do it on video, and I had a quick peek. So I know what's going on with this one, but I want to show you guys what's going on. Another problem is that a lot of linear trackers, the arm sits in the lid. So the mechanism is within the lid, and that is I don't know, I just disagree with that, because number one, I believe that when you're playing records, you should either take the dust cover off or you should have it open. Because once you close the dust cover, you're creating this chamber, right? So you got your speakers going and they're vibrating, and you're creating this chamber, this noise chamber, and you're going to get some serious reverberation in here. So play your records with your dust cover off or open. Have it open air. So that's another issue with this one. You have to close the lid to play the record because the arm is actually in here. Okay, so power on, and you can see there's some electronic controls down here. Repeat, reverse, which is kind of neat because it moves the arm back and forth. You can control it, and then your start and your stop. Underneath here you have your 33, your 45 are automatic. There are two LEDs up here. Okay, if you don't have a record on the platter, it will sense, it'll sense what kind of record you have on the platter. If you have no record on the platter, it will not start the arm. I have already had a peek at this one, and the LEDs are working. I've just put it on 33 manual right now because I was messing around with it a little bit. So here we go. We're going to press start, and if you can see in here, that is a Canadian penny, and it is mounted on top of the Tonearm, and that already brings up a problem. A P-mount cartridge should track at 1.25 grams. No more, no less. I don't know what a penny weighs, but I'm sure it's a hell of a lot more than that. So we're going to remove that and see what's going on. Maybe the needle shot and it's just not tracking anymore. But I have a feeling that it's something a little bit more serious. Here we go. Press start. This arm should move across and the player should start spinning. Okay, so we do have movement. You can see the arm gently coming. There she goes. It's trying. And that's it. It has stopped. Now pressing stop brings it back. And it'll stop the platter. Let's try that again. Oh. It hasn't returned home. Okay, so that's another problem. So it's not returning home, so I can't hit start again. There's a switch at the end that tells it that it's reached the home position, and then you should be able to start it again, but that's the problem with this one. So we've got a really buggered unit. I know what's going on with it. There is a belt that turns a motor, and then the entire cartridge assembly and Tonearm moves across a slide tube, kind of like a CD player. And I guarantee you the grease is gummed up. And we'll also have a look at the belt, clean it, we'll lubricate the motor and all that kind of stuff, and hopefully that's all that's wrong with it. I haven't dug into it, but I had a quick peek. So anyway, I've already removed the 4 clips here, so all you need to do is pull up on this, just like that. And there's the mechanism. I'll just drop that back down. I'm going to get the record out of there too. Let's just lift this up here and get this record out. And here's that platter I was talking about. So there's 2 LEDs right under here, and they shine lights and they hit these empty spots here. So if you have a 45 on here, it'll know, if you have this on automatic, it'll know to bring the arm out to this position. If you have a full 33 on here, it'll know to bring the arm to this position. If you have nothing on here, it won't even start. So you definitely need a specific platter for this turntable, and you can see the holes within the platter itself. I'm sorry, specific platter mat. And there's little holes here, the indentations that go in here. It should come up like that. Very cheap, ringy platter. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that really well, but this entire mechanism here rides along right here. This grease is basically glue. So let's, I don't know if there's a way to do this without, yeah, let's put it back on. I'm going to show you how it's moving. Gotta put the record back on. I want you to see it struggling. So line that up again. Throw the record back on. Just drop that down where it stops. Okay, so I'm just going to push this back to the home position here. See how it was just a little bit too far over? So now it's clipped the switch, which is right there. You can see that switch going right there. That tells it I'm home. So when I press play, keep your eye keep your eye on this. All right. So this is what's pulling this string right here. This motor here has a belt which turns this pulley, and there's a gear down here that turns this, moves the arm. Pretty complicated. There's 2 LEDs under here that are looking for a record. Okay, I've got this on auto. Let's press play. All right. So can you see this moving? And that's where it's stopping. Yeah, actually, you need the lid on because it's got some stops. Right now, this is actually touching the record. So there you go. That's how it dies right there. So if I do this by hand, watch this. See, I'm moving it. See how it went? Now it's going to drop. There it goes. See, it's dropped down on the record. And what'll happen now? I'm just going to stop this. What'll happen is there's a little sensor in this arm, okay? And as the arm tracks the record, it will naturally want to pull inwards. And as soon as it does, the motor moves the arm over a little bit. So it's kind of a staggered movement all the way across. So that's not really, you know, a great idea either, because the arm is always leading a little bit like this, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So how that's recreating the original cutting process of the record, I'm not too sure about that. As you can see right here, the switch, the micro switch hasn't been closed. So that's why I can't hit start stop again. As soon as I move this over, see, it goes. So anyway, we're just going to stop it because I don't want to mess around with this any more than I have to. I want to find out why this needs a penny, if there's something missing back here. I think it's probably a bad stylus. But anyway, let's get this record out of here. Turn it off, unplug it. Get the record off. I guess we can leave the platter there. It doesn't really matter. Haha, rhymed. Okay, so first thing we're going to do here, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, is we're going to, maybe I'll turn this around too. That way it's in a shot a little better. We're going to clean this entire area here and get this glue off of there. And you can see under here as well, that's the same crap. I'll do this and then I'll probably do that part off of camera because it's a lot of freaking cleaning and I can't see that being very exciting. And we'll get this cleaned up. So we're going to clean from where this arm travels, which is there to there. And I'm going to go with alcohol first this time and a paper towel. There's nothing pretty about this process. You just got to clean it, right? And just some 70% here. I've seen some of these where there's, this is like a thread. I mean, it's a good thick thread, but I've seen some where this is actually a metal string that goes around. I guess it depends on the quality of the table. Oh my God, this stuff is so sticky. Wow. No wonder this poor thing can't move. Holy moly, look at this. Look at that. That is 100% glue. That is no longer grease. Wow. Not a lot you can do, so we're gonna move it. Can we move it manually? No, we can't. I'm gonna have to turn it on and get the arm moving, and then pull out the plug. And it's probably not going to want to spin now because there's no, oh, it will, but it's going to stop because there's no record on there. Yeah, this is a bit of a pain in the butt. We'll put on a piece of crap record. You see how the arm's starting to get there now? Oh, it stopped again. Oh, it's there we go. It's really bad right here. So we're just going to get it down to the end here, and then we're going to press power and shut her down. It wants to play, right? So let's see if we can lift it. Go up. There we go. And go over. Good. It's very gluey under here as well, right? So that's good enough. Let's just press off and clean this area now. Remember one of my previous videos when I said a huge percentage of the problems with turntables, vintage turntables, is dried up, gummed up grease? Well, here you have it, right? It's a perfect example of that. Okay, so that's just a quick one. I think what I'm going to do here, I'm just concerned about a couple things. I want to get this bar out altogether because I want to clean within the tone arm itself, so that we really get a good cleaning. I'd like to get this whole mechanism right out, and then I can clean underneath there. So why don't we do that? So the string's not going to... okay, so the string attaches here. That's where it knows the position. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have a problem sliding this out. How's your vision? Good? All right. Yeah, I think this is a great idea. We'll get this sucker right out of there. I'm going to take the needle out. I don't know what condition it's in, but I don't want to risk damaging it. Okay. Yeah, this is definitely the way to go. Let's, there we go. Awesome. Nice. Now we can clean the hell out of this sucker. Perfect. Look at that. Great idea there. I'll just get all that crap off of there. Now it's clean. There. Cool. Let that dry up. Now we're going to clean this. That's just from the bar, right? So, I think I'm going to, yeah, we can definitely move this. And I'm going to see if I can pop this little peg out here and move the entire arm over without damaging it. This should remember exactly the position that it's in. It's kind of clipped in. I'm going to be really careful. Could be brittle plastics. Yeah, I'm kind of worried about this one. Maybe what we'll do, instead of pulling it all the way off, we'll just kind of tilt it out of the way. I'm nervous about that piece of plastic there. If it breaks, you're screwed. So for this mess, I'm going to WD-40 this because this is really thick. And don't worry about if I'm getting WD-40 on that record. It is archaic. Oh God, this is bad. Okay. Just lift that out of the way and clean. I will hit this with alcohol as well, just to get rid of the WD-40. Sorry if my head's in the way. WD-40 does such a great job at melting grease. All right, so now we'll hit it with some alcohol. How's your view? Good. And we'll just clean up the WD-40 because I'm going to apply fresh grease, so I don't want any WD-40 remaining. And I'm out. Am I out? Or just about. I remember when you could buy alcohol, not rubbing alcohol, but good isopropyl alcohol for like 99 cents for like a liter. Now it's like $6 or something. It's just ridiculous. Okay. All right. So that is clean. Okay, so our post here is pretty clean, I gotta say. Just give it one more wipe. And put that back. Put our arm back in position here. And just for shits and giggles, let's see if this sucker, oops, how's it going like this? Let's just see if it slides now, even without the grease. I'm just gonna loosely put it in there like this. I'm not gonna put the clamping screws. Who wants to bet that it works? Oh yeah, look at that. Actually, you know what? There's gummed up grease inside of here. This belt might be pretty weak. But look, it's sliding now, eh? It's better. I'm going to have to go home. Yeah. Go home. Go home. There. Probably gum this up again. Okay, so I'm going to get a Q-tip and we're going to clean these circular areas here. So we're just going to clean inside here where that tube is. That tube goes. Oh yeah, these are gummy. Just like that. Get that clean. There. And these plastic, they are plastic. All the rest of it is nice and clean. I'm gonna look on the bottom here, see what we got going on here. Surprisingly enough, you know, they put this grease here, but I don't see where it's riding on the bottom of this Tonearm here. I'm just wondering if we need to put any grease here at all. Okay, we're going to put this back. And we're going to put our screws back on. And all these do is keep that little bar from coming up. Hello. There we go. Let's try it again. Definitely have a weak belt or motor here. I mean, it's doing better than it was. There's no doubt about it. And it's getting to about the 33 position now. So that's better. But obviously we need either to clean the belt or to replace the belt. So let's have a look at that. Turn it off again. Let's unplug it now. Oops, sorry. That's my big fat head. All right, here's our belt. And as you can see, it's seen better days. I'm gonna try boiling it. I don't know if I have anything that's gonna replace that. I'm gonna service the motor too and clean the pulley. So let me go and boil this. We'll see if that works. If not, I'll search through my belts and see if I got anything even close. And we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Belt's been boiled. There's still a little bit of an indentation right there. Not too bad though. That's probably the home position. It feels, you know, it's got still sticky, so I like to call them, right? It hasn't shined up where they get all shiny. I'm gonna clean the pulleys. Clean this one and the motor pulley. That's not bad. And the motor pulley's over here. See if I can lubricate this motor as well. Yeah, I can get my oiler in there. So just behind the pulley, top bearing, drop of oil. This motor sits sideways, but it'll still creep in. I'm going to put our belt back on. Try and get it in a position where what was the home position is changed. That looks like home there. I'm going to go like that. Actually, let's go around here first. Doesn't feel loose to me, you know. It's a little loose, but okay. Let's try again. Nah. Not good. Oh, better. Oh yeah. Look at that. Are we sticky somewhere there? Let's try stop again. Just a little sticky at the end here. Maybe the oil got into the motor and just gave it that little kick in the ass it needed, eh? Much better. Let's try that again. There we go. Could have been the motor. Sticky motor. Stop. But yeah, I'm happy with that. Let me, that is a 30-year-old belt or something. I'm just going to look through my pile here. I don't know if I have anything even close, but let me have a quick peek. I'll be right back. So I looked through my belt pile here, and I got nothing that matches up. They're all a little too big, and that one's really big. This one's too small. Like, I don't want to put it in a stretched position. Here's the new one, and there's the old one. And these are, cheap Chinese belts. I just keep them for emergency purposes more than anything else. I wouldn't trust that to stretch it. It'll probably snap on the first pull. So no, we're going to stick with the original belt. I'm happy with the way it was pulling there. I honestly think we just had a little bit of a dry motor here, because as you noticed, it was starting pulling, and all of a sudden, it's like the oil got sucked in and it started moving. So I think this one's is good to go. And you can see these belts here. They're okay if you got an emergency repair or something, but they're not like OEM belts. Anyway, let me put this belt back on. I'll be right back. Okay, the original belt's back on. Here we are, the Canadian penny. This was an old trick when your records were skipping, to put a penny or a dime or something on your records. This is not a trick. This is stupidity, okay? Do not do that. Do not put pennies on your Tonearm or anywhere near your head shell. Okay, it's ridiculous. All you're going to do is damage your records and wear out your needle. Don't do that. What do we got here? That's pretty new one. 1992. So anyway, goodbye. All right, so one more look here. I got the belt back on. We have not lubricated this yet. We are going to lubricate that. And power. Start. Look at that. Running like a clock. How nice is that? Okay, you can go back because I don't want you dropping down on that piece of crap record anyway. There you go. All right, so we got the arm fixed. All right, so now we're going to have a peek at that needle, which doesn't look horrible. I know you can't see that. This camera does not focus when I want it to. We're going to clean that. I have no idea what brand this is. I've never seen this before. We'll clean that off. And then let's lubricate this. I'm trying to decide what I want to use to lubricate it. It still feels just the slightest bit sticky to me, Like it's not 100% clean. I'm going to take this off again. I'm going to run it with some WD-40, and but we'll lubricate it together. So I'll be right back. I wanted to come back and show you this. Okay, so I've just doused a little bit of WD-40 on this paper towel. Right? Remember, we cleaned this with alcohol 2 or 3 times. Look at this. It's still not clean. It just felt just ever so slightly gummy, like when you remove a sticker, a price sticker off something, you can feel that residue afterwards. And WD-40 is great for that as well. It just felt nasty, right? Just not clean. You need this thing absolutely 100% clean. Look at this. Isn't that incredible? Let's try again. I'm sorry if this is boring, but it's incredible how much these old greases tend to muck things up. What are we doing now? Still, look at that, eh? Still just a little bit there. Incredible. All right, this is alcohol here, so I'm just going to give that one final wipe. Now we're getting there. So now when I see, that's much better. I don't feel any stickiness now. Nice and smooth. All right, let me get it remounted and then we'll grease it. All right, we're going to grease this up now. I have used oil on these before, and oil is very lightweight. It'll eventually dissipate. I don't like using a heavy grease because you're going to end up gumming this up again. And this motor doesn't exactly seem like the strongest motor on the planet. You know, it's going to have to fight to get through that. So it comes down to what do you want to use. You know, I have a multi-purpose synthetic grease here, but I think it's a little thick. You know, it's not what I want to use, I don't think. I think I'm going to go with my old favorite. You know, I'm going to go with the Ultra Slick, which is, again, another multi-purpose grease, but it's just it seems like a little bit of a lighter viscosity, and I am not going to put as much as the factory did. You know, this is plastic sliding on metal, and they are not going to have a lot of friction because these posts here are plastic, right? So I'm going to get a little bit of the synthetic grease. And this is almost an oily substance. I'm going to put a little bit here. And put a little bit here. And I am going to dab just a little bit along here. And we're talking like minimal amounts. And we're just going to let the mechanism spread it around. A little bit on the bottom. And that is it. I'll put a little dab on the leading edge as well. And now we're going to run this. We're going to hit start. Is it plugged in? I guess I should turn it on. We're going to hit start. We're going to we'll let the mechanism spread that around. Look how nicely it's working now. And it is. It's spreading it around. And once it gets there, I'm going to go up. And I'm going to go over. And now it's going to go all the way back, right? Right? Oh, there it goes. Okay. And we'll just let that mechanism distribute the grease. It's going to get inside this. You can see it already building up on the sides there. It's going to get in there and it's going to do its job. And that is it. I'll hit it before it gets there. Oh, stop. That's okay. One more time. I'm happy with that. It's stopping. It's at the home position. That's it. We're done. There's just one thing I want to do while we're here. I'm just going to hit start for a minute. I'm going to hit that micro switch with a little contact cleaner. The micro switch is right here. Give that a shot. And there we go. Hit stop. That way the home position is working properly. Stop. Done. All right, so that is the drive mechanism. All done. Let's turn this around and we're going to see what's going on with the stylus, and we're going to see if this thing actually makes sound. All right, I've got the lid put back on, and we're going to give this thing a test. I just Windexed the top a little bit, so hopefully you can see through it a little better. Power on. I've also cleaned the needle, so that's all nice and clean. It did have stylus left. So we're going to put our record on. Turn on our amp, make sure nothing's buzzing. No buzz. That's a good sound. Let's see if we, or a good sign. Let's see if we, yeah, we have sound in both channels, which is good. And here we go. See the arm moving over. It knows it's 33. And it missed. Okay. Now it missed for a reason. That's probably due to some kind of setting. So I'm going to see if there's a service manual for this thing. Just like on an automatic radial arm turntable, sometimes it doesn't hit the record properly. And that's because of a small setting. It could be a screw or something that you need to adjust so it lands in the right spot. But let's see if we can manually just get this thing started. I can already see about 3 screws in the front of this, so I have a feeling that's probably it. But let's just try again here. Start it, and then let's try a manual. We'll queue up on it, and then we'll move it over manually, and we'll drop it down. This is the sound effect disc if you hear weird stuff, so it's working. It's tracking fine. It's moving beautifully. Drop it down. Works great. No problems. I guess the reason they put that penny on that tone arm was because, you know, it wasn't moving anymore, and they thought, oh, I'm going to put some weight on it to get it down into the grooves, but it's tracking normally, and I can see it moving ever so slightly, so that's awesome. Okay, we're going to hit stop, and I'm going to see if there's some kind of adjustment for that start position, and we'll be right back. Okay, just read the service manual here, and what it's telling us to do is to press stop, start, and watch the arm. When it comes down, we're supposed to lift up the dust cover, and then we're supposed to turn one of those 3 screws. I know you can't see those. There's 3 adjustment screws underneath, and line up with the top or the first groove of the record. So we're going to press start here. As soon as it comes down, we're going to lift it. So we're going to lift this. Oh, it went back. I wonder if they want us to power it down. Let's try that again. They didn't say to turn it off. Alright, so I've turned it off. Alright, I know you can't see that, but oh, maybe you can. Right there at the top of the screen, there's that adjustment. So I'm going to turn that out. It looks like it's cranked all the way in. Let's see what it does if I turn it out. I have no idea if that's moving or not. Oh, maybe it is. Let's try that. Yeah, it doesn't look any better. I'm going to play with this a little bit because it's impossible to do this on camera. Again, I'm adjusting with these screws here. I will be back. Okay, I just want to show you where I'm at. Somebody's been messing with these screws under here before. I'm reading the service manual, and there is an offset adjustment, and it's an electronic adjustment, and it was brutal to do. I had to stick, I had to get my digital voltmeter and get 2 leads down into those tiny little pins down there. I know you can't see them, but they're right through there, and it's impossible to get. And then I had to adjust screw number 2 till it read 1 volt DC. So that's done. That was a nightmare and took about half an hour to do. I still have not been able to get the platter to drop, or the tone arm to drop on the right correct spot of the platter. I don't know if this voltage adjustment is going to help the situation or not. It's just, I haven't tested it since I've adjusted the voltage, but let me just see if that helps at all. It's the offset for the arm. It's getting there, you know, it's not quite there, but I don't know how much more movement I have on that screw for adjustment. Yeah, still stuck here. I'll be back. Welcome back, guys. As you can see, I've had to open it up again. Well, now you can see the 3 screws I've been adjusting here. I mean, it's obviously a lot better to do this. I mean, it says on the bloody service manual, you know, you can do it with the dust. You can do it with the dust cover on, but my God, is it ever easier with it off. Okay, here's where we're at. I've been messing. This is the adjustment screw for the lead-in position. This was the voltage adjustment for the offset. This is the arm height. It's fine. I'm not going to touch that. Here we go again. This is where we're at. I'm not messing with this anymore. It's dropping in on the lead, and I just don't want to play with it anymore. It's so finicky, right? So it makes me shake my head why anybody would want one of these things. You know, if you get one, that's fine. You get it serviced or whatever, but these things are nightmares. I mean, look at all this, right? Look at all these components just to move, you know, an arm across the record at a 90-degree angle. Whereas, you know, a standard turntable, it flows across the record based on friction, right? So anyway, that's where I'm at right now. We'll get it buttoned up again. Be right back. Hey, welcome back. I'm not going to button it up. I'm going to end the video here. I just want you to see how complex these things are while they're operating. Okay, so I'm going to press play. There's my finger. Watch the arm come in. Oh, for Christ's sakes. This thing is a pain in the butt. It is still falling off once in a while. More adjustments, but let's just start it. Come on. It's not going to drop again. I got to adjust again. Oh, at that time it caught. It's just a pain in the butt. Anyway, I just want you to see this. Watch as it's playing. Do you see that? Do you see that gear just turning there? Look at that. See how it's staccato? That's as the record tracks, or as the stylus tracks across that record, and it moves from right to left. That's how the motor keeps up with it. I know it's really hard to see on this side here, but it is moving. What a nightmare these things are. Anyway, I'm going to finish setting this thing up and I'm going to put it to bed. And I'm really happy that this thing came into the shop because I've always wanted to do a linear tracking turntable for the channel. But the fewer of these I see, the better it is because they are a complete nightmare. I hate them. Sorry, but I do. Too much complexity for so little reward. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate you tuning in again, and if you could subscribe, that would be awesome. I'm getting close to 1,000, and this video is probably going to be released around the 1-year mark of the channel, so that's something to celebrate as well. Thanks a lot. Take care. See you in the next one.